Welcome back to another Honest Tool Reviews. What I have for you today, the Heritage 22 long rifle revolver in the 4.5, 5-inch barrel setup. If you remember, I've featured this before and I've discussed it at length, and it actually had a black cylinder removal pin, a black trigger, and a black hammer. And you'll see that I have made some upgrades. I will do a how-to video in the future if I proceed to do this with the firearm that I have for you today. Now, I will brag though for just a minute because I find it utterly wonderful. I am actually running a golden bullet in my golden cylinder, in my golden gun. Kind of a 007 golden gun kind of thing, I guess. But anyway, so Justin, you've just waved around your little 22 revolver, but you're not going to review it. So what are we talking about today? Well, the Heritage 22 revolver rifle. That's right, this is a carbine revolver. This is the Heritage carbine revolver. Heritage 22 that can accept any of the 22 or 22 magnum cylinders. So it functions the same way. You press the cylinder pin release button, which releases the cylinder pin. You remove the cylinder pin. You take a cylinder, any cylinder, and you do two things. You verify that the bullets that are in it, or that it's empty, are the bullets that are supposed to be in it, and that it itself is one of two. This says 22 WMR, so this is 22 Magnum. This reads 22 long rifle. Doesn't matter which one you have, but they can go quite squarely, fairly, and even fittingly into the Heritage. Let me take the orange protective layer off, and what I'm going to do for safety purposes is I'm just going to make sure all of these Magnum bullets are not in it. Yes, Magnum bullets. The Magnum versions of the 22s, the much more heavier hitting 22s. Okay, so I slide it in. And of course, I've checked it for fit. I press this button to allow the pin back in. And I rotate the cylinder a little so the pin slides in place. Pin locks. It is the exact same as the Heritage 22. It has the little space where you can feed the ammunition in one at a time. At the same time, that is also used with the extractor pusher to feed. The extractor pusher pushes the used cartridges out this spot as well. It has the same trigger and hammer combinations, so that's fully cocked and ready to shoot. That's half cocked, which allows for a number of little things while you're trying to work on or manipulate the gun. And this is not cocked, hammer resting on the the hammer resting on the firing pin in some models, but in Heritage, with this, you have a little bar here that actively physically removes the space that the hammer goes before hitting the fire pin. the firing pin, and therefore the hammer cannot hit the firing pin. You can see the blue of my shirt behind it. It cannot fire. Cannot fire. It won't hit it. Now, we can remove that, and you can see the hammer changing height. That's a safety built in on this side, just like the Heritage revolver. Really hard to see here, but if you go take a look at one of these in person, it's the exact same as the revolver handgun. This is classified as a carbine and not a pistol. So I managed to pick this up without a pistol permit. Now, you can buy the revolver with a pistol permit as long as it has the 16-inch barrel on it that they do make, which I have been wondering why for a while, because it looks fucking stupid. It's a handgun with this much barrel. But revolvers, for some reason, they make them, every make and model makes an overly long barreled revolver. And at the 16-inch mark for the Heritage, you are legally allowed to do the part swap and swap it to the buttstock here, which you can buy for it, that allows your revolver to become a carbine rifle. Now, that said, there's a few differences between the handgun and the carbine, and if you swap your handgun to the carbine, you need to treat it as a carbine. For one, you don't need to refer to it as a handgun, especially around police officers, because it's no longer a handgun. However, I'm not going to give you any advice one way or the other about how to handle that situation. This one was not converted. This one was purchased this way. And I believe converting this to a handgun might cause problems, because that's not been discussed anywhere. So I'm going to leave it alone, but I can swap parts such as the golden handle, the golden trigger, the golden cylinder removal pin, the golden cylinders. It takes any of these cylinders. I got 2 cylinders here, I got 3 cylinders here. It swaps out any of them. It fits all of the same things. So the benefits of it is you have the formed reliability of a revolver with the reliability of parts. I can go to their website, and any of the Heritage guns that I have will be accepting the same parts. The only difference is from here down, and whether or not I have a 16-inch barrel, a 9-inch barrel, a 7-inch barrel, a 4-inch barrel, a 3-inch barrel, or a 2.5-inch barrel. Snub nose, the Barkeep handgun. Now, in this configuration, it did come with a really wonderful leather strap. It's very, very basic, bare minimum type leather strap, and I don't suggest using it. Why don't I suggest using it? Well, they designed it so that you can shoot this appropriately, and they have this little curve right here to put your finger on, and that digs into my back. So I really can't throw it over my back, but I keep this leather on here anyway, because if I'm just going to put it on one shoulder, it's kind of in between my back and my underarm, which makes it a little bit easier to deal with. Now, some other things that you'll notice is that at the 16-inch mark, the handguns don't typically have this. They have their little front sight, but they don't usually have this big of a bird protruding adjustable rear iron sight. They have this sight here that's been drilled in, machined into the top of the cylinder frame, like all of the revolvers. Well, this is extra, and it comes when you buy it as a carbine. So does the strap and the handle and all buttstock. Why is this different? well, you're going to hold it differently. Now, the handgun, you kind of hold like this, but here, you're not supposed to hold it like this. You're not supposed to. What they want you to do is hold it like this. These, one inside the trigger well, one outside. For the sake of safety, they don't want your arm past the cylinder because the cylinder will let out pressure and can be painful or injure you. Now, I've seen on YouTube somebody did not mention this crap at all, completely disregarded it and didn't think about it at all, didn't mention it, and was actively shooting like this. And then they mentioned later on, I felt a little something slapping my wrist, but I'm not hurt or anything. Is that I recognize it's because of the cylinder. That's good for him. He didn't get hurt. That's good. But I acknowledge that they have said, hold it like this. And I gave it my all at the gun range. And holding it like this, I can't fucking hit anything. Just like with the Heritage 22 handgun, at 100 yards, I can't hit the gun with the handgun. I can't seem to hit the gong with this either. Now, there's a couple of factors that factored into that, and one of them is that I'm already hard of hearing, and I'm trying to use sound to know that I've hit it. And people around me have been firing some loud guns, and if I shot and they shot, I couldn't hear the gong. Maybe I hit it some and didn't know it. A lot of times I didn't see any dust clouds behind it. But I'm going to assume that this takes a while to get used to. And because I haven't shot it enough, I'm not going to do a review today. But I wanted to make y'all aware that there is a carbine version of the Heritage 22. And that it is in fact available for purchase. I got mine at Dunham's, and I gotta admit, this thing has been fun to look at, fun to stare at. It has started some conversations, and I am having the time of my life, imagining me in the Old West. I'm thinking about getting one of those horse sleeves, the leather sleeves that mount on horse bags, like for my 45-70, but for this. I think that would come in handy to help protect it and make it last longer. Since this gun doesn't fit in my gun safes, because I'm actually officially at capacity for all of my gun safes, it kind of sits out right now, and I keep it locked up. But that being said, I don't want to leave a cylinder in it. I'm already more than willing to leave the bullets in the cylinder. The cylinder is going to be tucked away in a safe environment. I leave the cylinder in the revolver handgun because I open carry the revolver handgun. But as you've noticed, I said I don't really hit shit at 100 yards with it, so I'm not going to be shooting anybody at 100 yards. It's just a personal protection handgun, so there's no need for the liberals to freak out. But I store it just kind of with the pin in it, and you can't really lock this with like any kind of breech lock, so I lock it with a trigger lock. And you can buy all kinds of trigger locks, but the kind of trigger locks that I tend to run, I don't want to show the one that's on it, because that just gives people the ability to you know what, I'm not going to show any of my trigger locks. The less people know about your security at your house, the better, right? So anyway, I'm going to put that back in its secured location and resecure it. But I'm glad that I could share, and I hope that you enjoyed finding this treasure trove the way I did. And not gonna lie, I found this really amazing 22 shells with it. The box was full. It was up to there when I bought it. I've done some shooting already. Silly me. But it's really good. These bullets are camo. They are in 3 different colors: green tip bullet, brown tip bullet, and black tip bullet, which is the 3 colors in camo. Now, I highly suggest giving them a shot, no pun intended, if you're going to be trying any new 22 CCI bullets. They're fun to look at as well as to shoot. But anyway, that's enough for today. I've been uploading a lot of videos that have just been sitting around late, and I hope you enjoy. I'm going to the range. Have a great day. Be safe out there.